Hello again, everyone. Here it is, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. My name is Jeanne Bobish, and I am your Fun Stampers Journey coach. I hope you are all having a fabulous Tuesday. It is October 3rd, 2017, and as you can see from my window, we have a beautiful, sunny, wonderful day here in my neck of the woods, and I hope you are enjoying equally as nice weather. Today, I decided that we're going to do another little Christmas card, which I hope you like. This is what it looks like, and it is using some of our Christmas cheer papers and our medallion wreath set and some of our fantastic, you can see it reflecting there, mirror paper. So I'm going to put you guys up in the cheap seats and we can get started on this card. So please bear with me. Excuse my hand while I get you up in the hanger. Okay, there we go. Looks perfect. Now, if you can see, all of the products that I will use today can be found on my website, funstampersjourney.com/Jeanne Bobish. Now, we're going to be using this adorable medallion wreath die set, which is pretty perfect for Christmas. I'm going to be using this Herald Angels, and this is a slightly older set. It was in last year's catalog also, but I wanted it strictly for the sentiment because it will work perfectly for what I want to use it for. Of course, I'm going to use my Journey squares. We're going to use some candy apple ribbon, some gold embossing powder. So, of course, we're going to need our media tray and a heat gun. And let's see, what else? The other paper we are going to be using, like I said, is our Christmas cheer prints. And we're going to be using the fa la 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 paper. And you can see on the back, it's a beautiful black with white snowflakes. So I hope you like this. I chose this paper because I loved how these little la la las were green and red. And I thought they were perfect to bring the green and red into my card design. So again, here's the card we're going to be making. So let's get started. We're starting out with a piece of Cranberry Bliss. And isn't that an absolutely gorgeous color of red? Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. And it is a really lovely, lovely red. It doesn't have any oranges, tints to it or anything. It's just perfect. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of fa la la paper, and I've actually cut it to be the exact size of the front of my card. Now you guys know I don't normally do that, but I wanted it to be the same size as the top of my card, and I'm going to cut out a window. So I have taken my square die, and I've already centered it where I wanted it and taped it in place. Now when you tape your dies, you want to make sure you use repositionable tape. I know those of you who listen to me constantly are probably so sick of hearing it, but it is very important because if you use regular Scotch tape, it's not going to come off your paper very well, and you'll end up very sad. Very sad indeed. Now, before I place this on my base card, I want to make a faux bow. Now, what that is I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon, and I want to place it across the bottom of my card. So I'm going to take some of my adhesive, place it here so that my ribbon is tacked down. Now, I really don't need this long of a tail on these ribbons. I could cut it a little bit shorter. Now, I don't want to pull this too tight just yet. All right? Like so. Now, I don't have this in my list of products that I used, but this is a little trick that'll make this bow look a little bit better and more realistic. I'm taking a piece of our candy apple twine, and I'm going to just tie a knot and crinkle my ribbon right here like so. Now you see how it's drawn my ribbon a little tighter. Now you want to make sure that you trim these little threads here because we don't want them to show. So I trim them. Now I can come back and readjust my ribbon so that it lays nicely and does not pull. Okay? And you can crease it here if you want. You can take your little crease tool and just make a nice fold there. Now we're going to make a bow out of the same ribbon. And hopefully I will be able to do it here on camera. So let me set that aside. And let's see how I do. Now, the worst part about this is the adjusting it and fussing with it until you get it the size that you want. So I'm just going to keep pulling and fussing with it until I get the loops of my bow the way I want it. And I think that's a nice size. I want to open this loop up a little bit. It kind of got folded so that it looks like it's the same size. You have to kind of twist your ribbon when you tie it to keep the satin areas to the front. Like this ribbon has a shiny and a matte side. And you want to make sure you're using the shiny side to get the best out of your bow. I think I want it a little bit smaller, believe it or not. So let's pull that good and tight. And again, I'm going to fuss with the bow until I get my loops the way I want them. And don't be afraid to work with the ribbon. I know it's boring for you to watch, but it will make your bow so much nicer if you take the time to fluff it out and get it just the way you want it. Now, this is twisted here a little bit, and that's okay. I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to cut my tails. And I will save those pieces of ribbon for another project. You guys know I like to singe the ends just so they don't fray. And I'm going to attach it right on top of that twine that I tied. And to do that, I'm going to use some of our glue dots. Oops, I got my package turned the wrong way here. And I'm going to put a couple on the back of here because I'm going to put one here just to make sure it gets in the right position. And I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to place a couple back here on either side of my bow. Whoop. Well, I'll find that one stuck to me sometime later. And there. So I have like 3 glue dots and I'm going to press it right in place. And it gives the impression, the reason I call it a faux bow, it gives the impression that you just tied a bow right there. Now, if you're worried about your ribbon flopping or sticking up, just simply stick a glue dot behind it, peel off the backing, and then just press it where you want it, and it'll stay tacked. Now this is ready to attach to the front of my base card. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive. And I want to tell you guys something. I have been working on some mini photograph albums that I'm hoping to sell in a local gift shop. And I have been using other brands of adhesive. I am absolutely miserable. They are terrible. There is nothing to compare with our Fun Stamper's Journey tape runners. I'm just going to come out and say it. It is the truth. It is a fact. I'm not trying to sell you on it, but I'm just telling you that there is nothing better, in my opinion, on the face of the earth than these tape runners. You gotta get one and give it a try. I think you will be sold. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our wreath die and we're going to cut out, if I get it out of the package, there we go. We're going to cut out 2 wreaths and we're going to cut out the little bells. It also comes with holly, if you would prefer to do holly. So I have a piece of kiwi slice and a piece of limeade splash. And I love how these 2 greens look together. They're so pretty. And then on top of that red, it just sets it off perfectly. So I'm going to do my kiwi slice first. And I'm running it through my amaze machine. And you can see how beautifully it cut. And there's one little part there that I have to fish out. Okay. And now I'm going to take my kiwi slice, or I'm sorry, limeade splash, and do the same thing. Now, I want to let you guys know who may be new to YouTube or to my videos that while my camera is in this orientation, unfortunately, I cannot see your comments or questions. But I will address them after the video, so please don't worry. I don't want you to think that I am ignoring you. I most certainly am not. And while I have my die cut machine, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my little bells. And I'm cutting them out of our mirror gold paper. And this paper is so beautiful. It is truly a mirror. And you're probably seeing it blinding you and reflecting in the lights. So I'll cover that up before that happens. And then I will run this through. And it cuts just as beautifully as our other papers. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's going to be the decoration on our wreath. Now this paper is rather pricey, so I save every little piece. Even if I maybe just want to punch some holes in this to put in a shaker card. I don't want to lose any of it. Now let me tell you something. Some people are not sure, because it's white on the back, how exactly to cut it. You want to place your die on the shiny side, okay? And you want to cut it from the top down. All right? So let's put together what we have so far. Got ribbon everywhere. I got paper everywhere. I got dies everywhere. Save these little pieces because look, they're long enough to work on another card. So don't let them go to waste. All right, I have my 2 wreaths And I'm going to start with the darker wreath because that is what's behind, and that's going to kind of give our shadow effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of our craft glue, and you can see that this paper was used for something else. I stamped something on it and didn't like it. So, but I didn't throw the paper away. I kept it because it can be used for this purpose. So I like to save product as much as I can, because let's face it, who can afford to just throw stuff away? Not many of us. So I'm going to place that just like so on my card. Next, I'm going to take my Limeade Splash one, and I'm just going to kind of fidget with it until I get it so that you can see kind of both colors, and so that it looks like one is creating a shadow behind the other one. So let's just add a little bit of glue here and there to hold it in place. And again, I'm going to think about this hopefully before I plop it down. And I think that's going to be good right there because I can see the other color through. This side maybe not so much, so I'm going to readjust it. That's the other nice thing about using the craft glue is you have a little bit of time to play. And then I'm going to take my bells and I'm going to place those right at the top. And again, I'm going to use my glue just to stick them down. And there is kind of a bow here, but I'm just going to ignore that. And place the bells right on top. Like so. Now, isn't that a pretty wreath? And I love, love, love how the red just pops against the black and white. Now we have one more thing to do, which is our sentiment. For that, I'm going to use some clear pigment ink. And we're going to use this Merry Christmas sentiment. And I'm going to emboss that in gold embossing powder, because I thought it would go nicely with our bell. Now I'm going to take some colorless Pan Pastel, the blending colorless blender, and I'm going to wipe it over my piece of cardstock. Now this kind of acts like an emboss buddy and prevents your embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it. So I'm going to take my stamp and ink it up with the clear pigment ink. Make sure it's nice and inky, and I'm going to stamp it right here on my paper. And I'm going to check the impression. I know you guys can't see it, but I can see it, and from what I can tell, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to grab our media tray, and our media tray comes with two sections. Of course, I have removed those so that it is an open tray that I can use for my embossing. Now look how beautiful that is. Absolutely perfect. So I will pour this back in the container later, and I'm going to get my heat gun warmed up, and we'll go ahead and emboss this. Now you want to be careful. You don't want to overheat it because it will burn. You want to hit it till it just turns shiny gold, and you can see right there where that's happening. I love to watch embossing powder change. I think it's so cool how it works. Now if it warps a little bit, go ahead and hit it from the back. And there we go. I'm just going to let this set for a few minutes and cool off, and then we're going to cut it out using our detail scissors. And our detail scissors, for those of you that don't know, are fabulous for fussy cutting. They are self-sharpening, and they are Teflon coated, so they are non-stick, which is a huge bonus. I don't want to mess that up, so I'm making sure it's dry before I stick my fingers on it and mess it up. I'm just going to create kind of a little arch around this scroll work. And this is actually a very easy piece to fussy cut. And I'm going to trim it on either end like so. And that will fit right across our wreath with our sentiment. But I want to pop it up, so I'm going to use some of my foam squares. And I'm going to place them evenly to give this even support, because I don't want it sagging on me. I know you guys are probably freaking out at the number of foam squares I use, but I would rather have it be nice and safely supported than have it get to the recipient and sag. That would be devastating to me. So I'm going to peel off all these wonderful little backings. And they tend to migrate. Drives my husband crazy because they end up all over the house in places where you would never imagine they would turn up. So I'm just going to kind of center this across the front of this square, press it in place, and there you go. A beautiful, fun, easy, quick Christmas card that I think you would be very proud to give to a friend or family member. So let me turn this back around. Thank you everyone for joining me. Hi Deborah. Hi Georgetta. Well, it looks like you are the only two people that commented that I can see. So I hope you enjoyed this card. Hope you'll check it out. Maybe give it a try. You can see all of the products I used on my blog, astrokeofgenius.blogspot.com, and I will have that link here with the video. I appreciate your watching. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future posts. If you are considering becoming a journey coach, I would love for you to check out my blog, because we have a new promotion this month where you can get a starter kit for $25. You heard me right. And you have the opportunity to purchase the large platinum machine for $50. It retails for $250. So that is a bargain beyond a bargain. So I hope you will check that all out. I really hope you like the card, and I hope I will see you again next time. Have a great evening, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.